screen then, my presentation. Yeah, somewhere here. Okay, so my presentation is about the role of open access educational resources to enhance student engagement, which we are actually talking about more and more after the COVID. It's always an important topic, but throughout the COVID, we tried to find very different ways to engage our students on Zoom. So here in this presentation, I will explore, I will share my kind of new explorations about some new open access resources in economics and finance area. And mainly these are the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis resources. I will share some of the game simulations, data dashboards they have on their website, which is free for instructors and students as well. St. Louis Federal Reserve online educational resources, they have a lot, many. One of them is, we are very familiar, FRED, Federal Reserve Economic Data Series. When you are checking online about the GDP, unemployment rate, when you Google it, the first data comes from FRED. This is a very common one. But other than FRED, they have customized geographical maps like GeoFred, and Federal Reserve archival system for economic research. I have never heard about earlier, but this is another one which is useful. Interactive games, Fredcast, I will talk about this one. And another resource I used was the online course videos, course documents they prepared, and PowerPoint slides and decks. Also, they are publishing podcasts, blogs, and other kind of publications on their website. The first resource I want to share is their educational website, which is, I will just go land in that web site here, and I will show you basically what they have there. Generally, they have personal finance lessons, economics, many different areas, even math classes, very short videos and documents they have. Let me just see if I can just jump to that website now. Okay, so the good thing about this website, one is just the general documentation you have. You can go to college level courses here they have. And the resources go up to, I'm really interested about the econ, but they have the government courses, history courses, data literacy, geography, history, math, personal finance, 87 documentations, videos they have. I generally teach introductory, micro, and macro, so those are really helpful. I'm sharing with on my Canvas course, depending on which subject I am teaching, about very good prepared documents or videos, GDP and pizza video explainers, for example, it was one of the examples, income, wealth, inequality, and so on. So there are a lot of resources already here. One other thing just is really good is for instructors, you can create your own teaching portal here. Just like Canvas we are using, they are helping with the technical issues, technical side of it, that you can reach out to them and they will help you. So you can create a classroom and you can add your students. Students will have their own logins, and whatever you upload to that website, also you can use their free resources already, and you can create your own class here, just like a Canvas class. Some schools, they don't have all different portals like Canvas. I'm not sure how many schools are using Canvas, but again, this is available here. They have a lot of resources for instructors, and they are really helping a lot. I don't know if you heard, but they have a teachers conference each year. So this is Econ Professors Conference, and General Finance and Econ professors are joining that conference. The last 2 years it was, it's already free, but it was on Zoom, so it is more approachable. Generally, it happens at St. Louis. And they are also sharing different resources and how their econ education department is working. I never know that they have a huge econ education department, so they are trying to help improve the econ education in the United States. And the second tool, documentation here I want to share is different kind of activities they have. They uploaded all these teaching documentations for instructors. This is one of them, just one example, lifetime inflation activity. And you can just use this as an assignment for your students. Like the concepts are explained, what is the, let's say, CPI, what's consumer price index, how you find this data, what's the inflation, and so on. And then step by step, they prepared all these assignments for you. So how you get the data, and then what does this each variable mean, then how you choose all different kind of metrics that you need to choose, and so on. So I use this for my students, definitely very helpful, and they feel like they are doing something. Definitely they are doing some applied work, and eventually all these assignment is developed for us. So for instructors, a lot of, this is just one of them, as you see, how you share the graph and printing the graph up to this detail. This is available on their website. And this is just one of them you can find for GDP, unemployment, and so on. And again, the FRED, the Economic Data Portal, I'm sure you all know, but just going to their website again, I used this throughout the COVID, or I'm still using this. My students are creating an account by themselves, which is free. And at this account, whatever data series that you worked earlier, you can save it here, and then you can check it later. Also, any different kind of maps, graphs, it will stay there in your account. So again, as I said, this is a very helpful one. Most of us we are already familiar to FRED data, but the account here, which is making things very, very easier for students. So this is one of them, and there are again activities for FRED. Just the similar one I showed you earlier. So the student needs to go to FRED, and then they gather the data and how they can edit the data. This is also a good knowledge for general education, because how do you edit the graphs? How do you customize your graphs? These are shared here. Again, if I just go to this link, it's again another activity, but just in one activity, students learn a lot how to manage this website and how to customize all these graphs and so on. So it's a very, very good knowledge for students, and they use this in other classes. And yeah, one other thing, just other than FRED, what I did during the COVID, and I still do it, I talked with my IT department, and they added a dashboard, which is a live dashboard from FRED to my courses, to my Canvas courses. So this is what happened to my, let me show here. This is my, let's say, one of my Canvas courses here. And one of the navigation bar items, I added San Luis Fed tab here. So when students go to here in each semester, what they see is basically something like this. Live data dashboard, all of the variables we use in economics. So I did this for micro and macro separately. So mostly this is a macro one. What's going on in the private employee aggregate weekly hours, for example, initial claims. This is updating itself by, since it's the live data, unemployment rate. So when we're talking unemployment rate, they are checking these daily or weekly, and how the employment is changing. COVID era, as you know, it was a huge case study for us. The macro variables, it was changing a lot. So we were talking about this throughout, and still we are talking about how the changes are happening. So many crude oil prices, It's always there. So students don't need to go and check this one by one. I'm sure they are not doing this all the time. So when they land into this dashboard, they see many variables at the same time, and it's updating itself all the time. And you can do this by yourself. You can create a dashboard by yourself, which variables you want to include. So if you go to your account and create a dashboard here, these will be created, and when you share this dashboard with your students, it will be just updating all the time, and students can see whatever you do in your site. So this is again very helpful one. Based on your areas, you can create a dashboard and then share this with your students. So what I did is, now since I have my master courses for micro and macro, I added this to the master course. Whenever I export the next semester, now that link is always there. So another excuse me, another very neat resource they have was the forecasting game. I used this in my business forecasting class, which is a 4-level econ class, and unfortunately they retired it in last year. I don't know why. Maybe they couldn't maintain all this work they need to do. But the forecasting game was, I was creating my own classroom, so my students was competing with each other in terms of forecasting the GDP, what will be the next quarter's GDP, what will be the inflation rate, unemployment rate, and total employment level. So when we are talking about all these and how we were learning how to forecast these variables, this was a very neat game. So they were learning how to do it at the background, but at the same time they were competing and trying to do some forecasting and some guesses. So this was a very neat one, but unfortunately it's not available right now. GeoFred, this is the map version of this data. So Geographic Maps, customizable based on what you need. Now they changed the landing page for GeoFred. So whenever you go to FRED website, you will land using the FRED website. Let me show you how this is basically happening. So if you go to, again, FRED, let's say earlier there was a different web page for maps, but now let's say you want to talk about unemployment rate from FRED. So you get this, let's say, one of the graphs you have about the unemployment rate. And when you show this graph, customizable graph already, when you go down, you have all of the resources about unemployment. This is sort of really neat. Unemployment rate by country, unemployment rate by state. So these are maps you can use. Generally, I share this unemployment rate by county level unemployment when we are talking about, for example, next week, I will teach unemployment. So you can go many different kind of additional maps and information that you can share with your students, and then it becomes more relatable to them. So let's say they are living in Lebanon County and they see what's going on with the neighboring county and so on. So this is really helpful. It's not just the unemployment, other kind of macro data. There is the map version of it, and all this map version you can land in from, again, this FRED website. And if I just go down a little bit, see there is other things. If they have some podcast videos about unemployment, if they have some other educational resources, they put everything about unemployment on the same website. So now you can see all these additional information you need from the same page. Okay. So this is another one, really, it was helpful to me. And again, the videos, I shared the videos with my students as an additional supplemental resources on my Canvas class. Based on what you are teaching that week, you can find mostly econ, but again, there are some personal finance, low level of finance classes, so it might be relatable here. the videos and more visual tools to engage students. And also this is really helpful because students diversity is increasing in all colleges, and their teaching and learning styles are all different. Some students are really good with reading all these documents and following all these step-by-step instructions, but some are not that much. They like more videos, they like the checking the blogs or podcasts. So there are different kind of resources available, and just what I feel now is this is another test for instructors, how to just open up the doors for these open educational resources. As I said earlier, it is not very easy because we are very busy with our jobs and teaching and research requirements. It takes time. Definitely, it takes extra time. But what I felt after this experience, it versus students' engagement level and their learning levels improves, and also their interest in the area increases. So this is one thing I really need to mention. Generally, freshman students, they don't know which area they want to go in. They're landing in the business. Well, I also have engineering students. They are taking generally micro, and their interest levels increases a lot. They start talking about daily issues, checking the news, and they feel more engaged on I think with the help of these additional resources. Okay, so there is one article just I want to share as a reference. This is basically, again, how to use the St. Louis Fed educational resources. It was published in 2016. But what I feel is not just for the Federal Reserve resources or other open educational resources, we can increase the research in this area. How to utilize this research, how to utilize the open access resources, and also the impact on student learning. I think this area is a little bit more, need more research now.